Hello YouTubers, this is Garrowin again. This is day 2 of me recording my root digging trips. I did get me a better digging tool today at the local stockyard from a guy, because the little thing I had yesterday turned out to be a little made in China piece of crap. Because after digging about the 3rd or 4th root, I went to pry and the shovel head just bent. Got to looking at it, made out of aluminum. So I was basically digging with a thick pop can. So this one's actually made of steel. It actually got broke at one point instead of bending, and the guy welded it himself and fixed it. And so hopefully this little thing will serve me a little bit better. It's got the same kind of deal. You pull back on the spring here and it can rotate either way. But anyway, let's see what we could find today. Alrighty, so I got a little bit of an update here. I was walking along and I spotted this little bloodroot, but I'm like, well, that's way too small for me to care about, but let's follow the rule and stop and look around. And as I was looking, well, I've lost it again. There's a big one right there. It is right over there. Because remember what I said, very rarely do you ever find just one by itself. Usually there will be at least a couple more around. Now this one I think is also too young to take, but I'm gonna dig him up anyway and just take a look at it, and if it's too small I'll just replant it and come back to this spot next year. Now there is some mayapple here, but I'm gonna leave the mayapple alone. Another quick side note, I know yesterday I made a suggestion in regards to firearms, but you're never a one-man army. I don't care how badass you are. So when you go out into the woods, something you should always keep is some form of communication. I don't have a cell phone, neither does my wife, but we do have CB radios. We have good ones in both cars and a big one in the house, and this is a handheld CB radio that'll reach for a couple miles to the bigger radios. Covers our property at least, so you always want to have a form of communication. Bad thing about CB radios, especially these handheld ones, you're limited on range. Now the ones in the car to the ones in my house, I can cover a couple counties. But with these little handheld ones, depending on the terrain, you're probably only going to get about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, maybe, on a full battery charge. But you also don't have dead zones. So if you know you're not going to be more than 2 miles away from, say, your car or wherever you have your other CB at, then this is probably going to be actually a little bit more reliable than a cell phone. Because in areas like this, you could have coverage here, and you walk over there and you lose all your coverage. So, point being, have a form of communication so that if you get into trouble, you've got some way to get in touch with people. So yeah, let's continue on. Alright guys, I just thought I would take a second to show you something here. I have found some really mature Yellowroot plants. You see how they got those little berries on top? The ants are eating that one alive. But they kinda look like unripened blackberries, you know, when they're still red. But that is Yellowroot with the berries on top. Now you may find Yellowroot that's this big or bigger that does not have the berries. That does not mean it's not mature. That just means ants got to it before you did. The root's still fine. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys what the berries look like on them. There you are up close, so that you know what you're looking at. Alrighty, so here's how I get the root up. Alright, you got your plant here. You got the stalk to it. You follow it down. Clear the leaves away from it. Alright. So that you got a clear look at the ground. Now, don't start digging right here, because the root's right there. Alright, what I do is I come 2 to 3 inches away from it. Alright. Wiggle it down into the ground real good, and then pry up. And then you can reach in here underneath it and just kind of grab the whole dirt clod. Alright. And pull it out. Shake the dirt off. Now that one, even though it's a mature plant, I think I'm going to leave that one alone because it's a small root. It's got a lot of hair on it, but there ain't much weight there. So I'm going to put this one back and leave it alone. But And when you take the root, if they got berries, replant them. If they don't, when you break the plant off the root, break off just a little bit of the root system with it so that the stalk of the plant still has a little bit of root left on it, and replant that. Hello YouTube. So, well, I guess this is all one video, so I don't need to introduce myself, but just thought I would offer up a suggestion here, especially if you own a lot of land and you're going to be out in the woods for a while. I recommend setting up a little base camp. You know, at least one, maybe at the farthest point from your house or halfway, so that if you're tired and you don't want to go all the way back to the house to sit down for a second, you've got a place with some bottled water and some non-perishable canned food and stuff like that, where you can come and take 10 minutes to sit down, maybe get a snack, drink a bottle of water, and maybe not have to pack all that weight around with you every time you go out into the woods. This is something I did because I'm out here all the time, so I can rotate the food out and make sure that nothing's being bothered. You know, make sure that the tent's in good repair and everything. And this is about the halfway point on our property as far as length and width. It's almost at the edge of it. We've got about another, I don't know, 250 yards up that way to the property line. So this is a good point though for me to stop and take a rest. So, you know, idea for you guys to ponder. Maybe think about, you know, setting you up something along your property to make things a little bit easier. Just wanted to point something out real quick. There's a reason I said non-perishable canned food, because if you have, you know, steaks or even other dry food that's not in some kind of sealed container, animals will smell it, and you might come up here one day and want to take a break and realize your tent's ripped to shreds. So, you know, sealed package items that won't spoil if you want to take a vacation and not come up here for a couple weeks, and things that won't emanate a smell to attract wildlife. Alrighty, it's actually been a couple days since I recorded that last little clip that I'm putting in this video, but I wanted to show you guys something. There's a plant. Oh man, it looks a lot like bloodroot, especially the young plants, but this looks more heart-shaped than bloodroot does. This is not bloodroot. Now if you want to see a comparison, right over here is bloodroot. A young one, but it's bloodroot. Bloodroot on the right, I don't know what that's called on the left, but it ain't bloodroot. Just wanted to point that out. Now this is what you want to find. This is bloodroot. 3 plants off 1 root. That's what you want to find. Oh man. Alrighty, I'm going to conclude this video. We got a handful of bloodroot on this last day. I'll upload a video once I find some ginseng or something else interesting. But I've got to make my way out of here on my little 2-wheel drive pickup. So if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, post them below. I'll get back to you if necessary. This is Garrelin out. Have a good